as far as Thea goes, um, you know, it every project starts off really, really small, but right now Thea is probably one of the more popular projects. It's probably one of the fastest growing projects in the ECD tools working group. Um, how do you think that it's gone from, where it started to where it currently is? Mark, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so when we created Theia, we did it because there was nothing out there that would do everything we wanted an IDE to do internally, and um, our needs are not unique. I think a lot of developers and company will want something similar. So at the time, we thought VS Code was a great editor, but there were a few things that it was missing that we needed. So one of them was to be able to run it on a remote machine with local user experience without lag, giving you the illusion that you're actually interacting with something that is local. A sub case of that is the containerized environment that are really popular right now. Another thing that VS Code, in our opinion, lacked a little bit was a community around it and a way to organize this community so that we have a level playing field and no one company will get to decide. It needs to be communal decisions so that it satisfies everyone. And the Eclipse Foundation was a good way to address that problem. And the main other thing that we wanted was just not one IDE, but the possibility to make any IDE we wanted out of this. So with Theia, we worked a lot on the extensibility to make it so that you or anyone can make it the IDE they want. And all of this together, there was nothing at the time that provided that. So we created Theia, and I think these are more or less the same reason why it's getting more and more popular.
Yeah, that makes sense. So some of the timing, some of it was market opportunity with, a lack of options, and then obviously flexibility. Developers love the ability to create solutions that are tailored to their unique needs. Thomas, what are your thoughts?
Well, for us, it was at the time we were noticing that we were spending a lot of time investing into the editor itself, right? And we were not happy with that, and we needed to do something anyway because the technology, Google Web Toolkit, was just not scaling to the size or the complexity that we needed. And Theia came along and fit right in. I mean, at the time there were a couple of web editors, but I think it also fits the workspace model that you have a machine or a container that runs somewhere and that you serve the ID from there fit well with what Chase is doing or has been doing traditionally.
Mhm.
And for us, it just kind of went from there. And it was also for us, it was important that we could influence what Theia was doing at the time, that it's a real community. And with no, at the time it was Typefox was still having a large influence. But since they're not an ID vendor themselves, or they were not at the time before Gitpod, it kind of fit the model. They were happy that we were there, and we were happy to be there, and it kind of grew from that.
Yeah.
May I mention, Thomas, that in my personal opinion, maybe one of the main turning point of the project where it really became started to get traction was when Red Hat joined, I believe in spring 2018. And by the fall, you had this great contribution that we call the plugin system that gave us compatibility with VS Code extensions. That was a turning point, in my opinion.
Yeah, for us, that was also a scalability issue because right now you can use most VS Code extensions via OpenVSX. And it's just, there's so much productivity or effort going into building VS Code extensions. And if you can reuse that, that's just always a winning bet.
Mhm.
A community will beat any product all the time in the long run.
Yeah. I think and we can talk about it more later on in the episode, but I think that extensibility model is really, really key for IDEs moving forward. I think it's something that VS Code, um, they nailed it as far as execution goes, and what developers are really looking for.